Chatter. Andrea Sauceda is joining us from momsaroundsa.com. We're talking about our kids today. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
My hands are so cold. You look so
you
warm.
are cold, actually. I felt that.
You know, this is a great topic, raising confident kids, because I try to instill confidence in my kids all the time. However, that has backfired. And my little Addie is super confident, so sometimes I have to tone it down a little bit, right? Because there's a fine line.
There is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And so what we want to understand as confidence is just taking fear away.
Right.
That's all confidence is. So arrogance could be like, I think I'm better than everybody else.
Right.
Everything I do is perfect. And that's not what we're talking about. Arrogance is walking around like you're entitled. Where confidence is walking around where you're just not afraid to live your life. And so as parents, how can we instill that confidence in our kids? What can we do? And one of the things we can do is be encouraging.
Sure.
Make sure that we're constantly focusing on the journey and not necessarily the outcome.
Ah, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so let's say your daughter wants to try out for a dance team or cheerleading. And they say, oh my gosh, Mom, I don't know if I'm good enough. So where's her confidence level? It's a little low. It might be a little bit shaky. So what we're going to do is we're not going to say, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You're the best girl and you're the prettiest and you're the... Because then what we're instilling is arrogance, and we're setting their expectation to where we're thinking they're going to make the team. Well, now if they don't make it and they fail, they're not going to have strong confidence.
So we're saying, you know what? It's the journey. It's the experience.
We're not focusing on that. We're not magnifying that. What we're going to focus on is the initiative to try. You know what? You've worked really hard at this. And regardless of whether you make the team or not, you already have a no if you don't try out. But if you try out, they might say yes. So let's get on there and let's try out and let's give it a go and let's see what happens. It's going to be fun. And you make it this experience to where they know whether or not they make it or not really doesn't matter to you as mom or dad. But you encouraging their journey is going to make for a more confident child and more apt to go out there and try things.
And I'm glad that you gave us some different words to actually use. The other thing is that you recommend is that if you're nervous for your child, keep it to yourself. Keep your fears to yourself, right?
Maybe
as a parent.
you tried out for cheerleading and you didn't make it and it was horrible for you. And you're like, oh, well, baby, do you sure you want to do that? Or, you know, or even with my daughter. I mean, if there is a bungee cord and a building, my daughter is more than likely going to jump off of it. Okay, I'm not. I'm feet on the ground. But the first time she ever did that, gosh, I think she was probably 10 or 11 years old, and she's like, Mom, I want to do that. And my fear was, I'm not putting you up there. Are you kidding me? And she was age limit appropriate, and I had to kind of swallow that and say, okay, you know what? You want to try that? Go ahead and try it, and swallow my own fear or my own past failure.
I'm not letting anyone go on a bungee jump.
Encourage her to have her own life experiences, which are going to be different than mine. And so a lot of times our own fears, our own lack of confidence, we can kind of put onto our children.
Another great tip is make sure your priorities are well defined.
Exactly. You want to make sure that your kids understand what your priorities are. Your priority isn't to go out there and, oh my gosh, you want to make sure, if you can knock little Jill over so you can get in the front, do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your kids know that everything is going to be done ethically and morally and according to your standards, so that when they go out there, whether they make the team or not, we're not going to say, oh my gosh, you should have made it because little Jill didn't have her splits and you did. You want to just say, oh, you tried so hard, and you want to focus and make sure that the priorities are around what they did well and not what other people didn't do as well.
I think I'm doing a few things wrong currently at the moment. I'm going to have to reassess.
Confident, right? Remember, all confidence means is taking fear away.
All right.
So all you want to do is take the fear away so they can get out there and live their life.
It's a great discussion and encouraging and me to chat with this about my kids for sure. Guys, keep the conversation going on Facebook, Moms Around SA. You can also find Andrea's website, momsaroundsa.com. Great ideas for the kids, things to do around San Antonio, recipes, and so much more. It's momsaroundsa.com.